It's, don't get into the habit of playing with the telephone. Most human beings are already in the habit, unfortunately. It's gradually conquering the human race, the telephones. But anyway, whatever is whatever is so the whole in of a Mela Besoda is an unusual situation. First of all, the Mela, he's not in his palace. He's not an overcloth, the Mela. He's Besoda. So where's he been? What's he been doing? What is he doing in the Sadeh? Yeah, it's hard to imagine that he's just gone out into the Sadeh for no reason particularly. Elamai, if you study carefully the Lashon, it would appear that he's coming back from somewhere. He's been somewhere, and he's come back now. And the Alter Rebbe writes the Lashon, Terem Knisasei La'ir. He's before he's going into the city. So that would tend to imply that he's been out of the city, now he's going back. And just permit me to say so, but that fits in very well with certain versions of the whole concept of Mela Besoda in certain other Sfarim of Talmidei Maggid. Even very big people from the time of the Maggid, but different than the Alter Rebbe. And you know what they say? They say that the Mela Besoda in the 3 weeks in the Harikot from Shivas of B'Tammuz until Tisha B'Av, the king, he was sent away, he was driven out of his palace. If a matter every year it reoccurs, that the king has left his palace and he doesn't know where to go, So what does he do? He's wandering around in the field, Maybe a few faithful followers are with him. But, he goes around in the field. So they write that you as an ordinary commoner have got a tremendous opportunity in the Gimel Shavuos that you can take him in because he doesn't know where to go. And he would be tremendously appreciative of somebody who would take him in. So if you say, listen, Mela, would you like to come into my house? He will do so willingly. And he will come into your house. And that's what's written in the Kisvei Arizal, that the whole 3 weeks, especially the 9 days, is a Zman that you can be miyached, certain yichudim, that the whole year there's no way you can be. You can't reach that madrega that you can reach during those days. So they want to say that that's al pi Kabbalah, a remez to the fact that the king is wandering around, he's looking for somebody to take him in. You follow? And that's the concept, Mela Besadeh. In other words, that there was a concept of that sort by the Talmidei Maggid, Mela Besadeh. The Alter Rebbe doesn't say that, you see. The Alter Rebbe chapped on the whole inner Mela Besoda, Bo'ivin Acher. It's already finished, the whole wandering around. The inner soda is finished. The Melech's on his way back. He's on his way back. For words. And I want to suggest to you, why is he able to be on his way back? Because it's terrible. And I'll soon go into that in a second. But just, he's no longer wandering around looking for somebody to take him in, which is a tremendous opportunity, by the way. But he's already going back somewhere. But before he goes back, then you can't get in so easy to the king. You've got to be, you've got to done your preparation work beforehand, big time. then you might get in to see the king. Well, hopefully you will get in, but it's a whole procedure. Therefore, the king says, I'm on my way back in, and he's in a tremendously augureous mood, because he's going back into his home. You follow me? He's going back into his home. So he's in a wonderful mood, the Melech, and he says, once I get into Hegel Malchus, it's not going to be so easy for everybody, So let's make a moment now. Yeah, let's make a moment, and we'll meet everybody informally. You follow? And when I meet everybody informally, that's a tremendous experience for me and for them. Maybe more for them in a way. It's also for the Miller very special and therefore he shows everybody a smiling face and a laughing look on his face. But it's not a laugh of just some humor. Das ist Tainug, awesome. But the Miller is makabel everybody in a way that they can get to him, you follow? And if you want to have a couple of words with the Miller, you can do it, You can walk out and you can say, excuse me, Miller, Your Majesty, or whatever. And you can have a few words. The famous Torah and the Baal Shem Tov, you guys are Batlonim. There's a famous Torah in the Baal Shem Tov. But the Baal Shem Tov says, it's written, Tefillah L'Oni, we say it every, Tefillah L'Oni, Ki Yatov, V'lifnei Hashem Yishpoich Sichoi. So the Baal Shem Tov said, what is the tefillah of the Oni? What is his tefillah? Yeah, and he gets tired. Ki Yatov. He goes out with his whole neshama with this tefillah. What is it? Lifnei Hashem Yishpoich Sichoi. He wants to be able to talk with the king. You understand? And in the mashal, there's a famous mashal that he gave, that the king all of a sudden said that everybody can ask what they want, and for 2 hours or so he's going to answer whatever people want. Cool. So all sorts of people came running and they said all sorts of amazing, some of them good things, nice things, some said millions, all sorts of people came by. One guy, he was on it, and he said, Your Majesty, I'm not going to know how to use what I'll ask for anyway. He said, all I'm asking for is that every day I should be able to meet with the Melech and just talk with you for a short while. And that'll be to me the greatest thing that I could possibly imagine in my whole life, that each day I will meet up with you and we'll have a brief interchange, the two of us. That's all I want. So when the king heard that, he said, this is the man. This is the citizen that he's been dreaming about all his life as a king. That's the guy. And he agreed. So for the rest of his life, every day the Oni would go in and he would talk for a few minutes with the Melech, and that was his most unbelievable realization of his life. So the Oni says to the Eibishter, all I want is a certain period of the day where I can just pour my conversation out to you, and it'll be just the two of us, just you and me. So the Eibishter said, that's all he wants, just to be able to talk to me, not because he wants anything from me. He just wants to be able to talk with me. Oh, sure, that's the deal. You follow? Oh, that's the Melech Besoda. The Melech Besoda, he wants just that people should be able to say out there a few words to him, and that's the oinig of the Melech. And that's not, a normal thing for Klaus. He's been who knows where. wandering around because of the Churban Abayis. Now he's coming back, yeah, and it's a tremendous, augureous moment that anybody who wants can come over and talk with me. And if he sees people take that opportunity, oh, that's for him a tremendous. That's the whole realization that I can't say that. It's both for the king and for the people, you know? And it's an amazing moment. And so how did you get to talk to the king? Ki seita, you had to go out into the field. Therefore the Alter Rebbe writes that the people are going to go out into the field. Because the king's over there in the field. He hasn't entered the city. And he doesn't want to enter the city until he sees you guys. You know? The people all have to go out of the city to the middle. In Mamela you get this most amazing Yatziam, you get a Harogil. It's not a Nimta. Al derech harogil v'klam. Mamela, Yesh Loman, the Rebbe brings it down in many of the Sikhs, that when the king talks to you that way, he gives you the whole etzem of the king. That's the whole atmos of the king. The fact the yichud of Chayde Shalom is a yichud b'atzmos Yisborach. Mamela, lefi zeh, what's left over for Rosh Hashanah? Yeah, we've already met up with atmos. We've already schmoozed with atmos. We already got the best possible thing we did. Ain't no chaname. The whole infant Rosh Hashanah is like, tremendous polishing and making shleimas out of building all the Esser spheres and spheres of Malchus, and building a whole, tremendous interrelation with the king, as a subject with a king. Out there you were a subject, but not. You were, but you weren't. Follow? That's something tremendously precious. It's only elul. What does that do for you? It makes you realize where you really hold and what's really going on. Follow? So that when you do come to try and get into the Heichal HaMelech, and you do, ultimately, because Aliyah, by Yom Kippur, everybody makes it, one way or another, but you already know what you're up to. You already know what are you really doing. What are you really asking for? What is important? I want to suggest here that that's a very fascinating thing, that the month of Elul, how did that get to what it is? So it's brought down in the Zohar Kodesh, in Parsha Yisro, it is. It's brought down, very interesting, it's brought down that Nisan, Iyar, Vesivan are connected the Gimel. Nisan is Avraham, Iyar is Yitzchak, and now they call him Yankov is Sivan. For Yankov is the perfect of the fathers, so that's Matan Torah, and all the Yam Shokas for Nisan and Iyar all find their shleimus in Sivan. So that's Yankov. Esau, he came along and he said he's also a member of this family, What's with him? Yeah. So the Abraham said, we'll give you 2 months. Over the Amos is only 1 month and 9 days. And that's Tammuz and the 9 days of Tisha B'Av. He was supposed to get the whole month. But Lapuya, we only give him 9 days. After that, it's all gone. So he says, what about the third one, the third month, You guys, these guys got 3, What's with the third one? That's Elul, you follow? So the Aver said, I'm sorry, You better keep out, it's not for you, So the Mogacha role has got in a place that actually what happened here, and it's very interesting that he says such a thing, because the Lashon in the Zohar Kodesh nish poshet Zohar, but I have to be medactic Yoser in the Oisias. Aber he said that what Yankov Avinu does, Yankov Avinu chaps away elul, and Esau has no ability to get it or touch it, because Yankov Avinu chapped us away. You follow? He said, that's how, where, you got 1.5 months to be pleased, you understand? 1 and a bit months, you have to be happy, you understand? So Esau is left Tammuz, and now he doesn't have Tammuz either. Because you'd base Tammuz into, you follow? What does that mean? But it means the Mashiach can come already. Rabbeinu Shalom. The question is, Ad Matai? What's the delay? Aber auch upon him, kommt that Esau wanted to get it, of either the Eberster or Yankov Avinu, or both of them. They didn't allow him. So what does that indicate? It's like almost like a sort of, a super diplomatic struggle for elul of the Yidden, according to the Momentero in the Zoya, Yankov Avinu chaps it for the Yidden. It's also not a dover, it's just this part of the flow of time. It's like a chappiness, It's a whole special opportunity. זה לא בדרך הרוגע בכלל. זה עניין עצמי, יבנה? שנית האורה, שנית זמן. It's zman, and therefore the Alter Rebbe says in Likutei, why isn't it Yontif? And everybody knows that he asks that kasha because there's a place to ask it. L'choyre, all the days of elul should really be under the Lefisa. Ein l'chanami. That's what they should be. Yeah, come in. Yeah. Come in. Oh, Mela, that's what should happen. Yeah.
We're looking for the Melech in the Sodeh.
Sit in the bell, better ship bingo.
I'm not going to say no more.
I don't know if you guys, do you guys see the Bez Mashiach?
Yeah, we read about it.
What a picture.
By the way, it was a very nice article. Who wrote it?
He came and interviewed me.
Huh?
He came and interviewed me.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't let him print it
Very
unless I
well
went
written.
over it first.
And I would like to comment about it, but I ain't kind of welcome to hurry. But it's very important that, that these stories be mentioned and they be told.
I've been writing them down. It's
Yeah.
only a little bit.
Yeah, it's very important. Anyway, whatever. There's you're not familiar.
I don't read it.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, so Kunta is that whatever way we come from, whatever direction, elul is absurd. It's a from what Rashi is maramed. It's a from prat l'mazuma. It's not normal. It's not under normal control. And it has nothing to do with Esau anymore. He's got nothing to mix there. Because Yankov Avinu Timavei Chab. L'dasa Monketcha. Timavei Chab. And if it wasn't Yankov Avinu, it was the Avist himself. Because he said, you guys got 3, where's my 3rd? You follow? I only got Thomas and Al. And Avoy also didn't get the whole lot. So, don't let him get it. Follow? Nim said that's prat l'mazuman. It's all like something very, very unusual. You got to go out of your whole normal situation and be in a different world. That's a whole inner kiseita. And then all sorts of strange things can happen. All sorts of nishomas that were Tomun V'toya, clippers all start coming over through the Yafas Toya and all sorts of pillars, dicke Sachen. And so what would you like to do? To stay with El? Yeah, well, you know, it's clear that a Yid can say that he's happy, you know. He's happy with El. And the king is for sure happy. Why? Because according to the Alter Rebbe, he's going back from somewhere. He's been somewhere, and he's going back. Before he enters the city, that's when this whole intimate connection with the people occurs. That's all part of the tremendous Eis Rotzen of he's going back. Oi, oi, oi. So if he's going back, let's do it properly. Right. Let's make it. Yeah, let's make it fun. And therefore, I've forgotten who it is. The Chizkuni, or one of the Rishonim, or one of the great Meforshim writes that Ki Sivna Bayis Chodos, yeah? Rashi says that you'll be zeicher to that, true. Shilu Hakan, you'll be zeicher to Bayis Chodos. So they say, whoever this is, I've just forgotten for the moment, that that's the Bayis Chodos in the Beis HaMikdash Ashlishi. The Tavki Ali Deizeh will build the Beis HaMikdash. So Nimtzalef is there, that it's all going in that direction. And the king is going back, Rabbeinu Shalom. The king is going back to where he really belongs. And according to those shittas that we mentioned before, it's beautiful because he's been wandering around because of the Churban. And he was looking for somebody to take him back in. Now he's all of a sudden going back to Heichal Malchusei. Well, what's going on? Something has changed. It's an amazing moment that he's heading back for the final bias, not just for a bias Chodesh Tam. He's heading back on what you might call big stakes. It's an unbelievable Eis Rotzen. And that's Rashi, Maramas, Prat L'Muzuman. This is not a normal time. It's not a time under ordinary control, and you don't have any shaykhs. You're not a balabos on the, if you are, then it's not Shiluah HaKan. It's an unusual matter. And therefore, Sholach to Sholach is aim is Bina. Yeah? You got to send away the whole Asog. Send it away. It doesn't make any sense anymore. But Bonim, Tikakla, Bonim Atzmiyam, the midas how they are in Etaman, not the midas Boim Ali De Bina. No, Tikati Emasa Bonim, the Koyach, the Mila Medidavak Bonim. Mela, it's what, as the old saying has it, what could you have better, you know? It's a V'yesh Loima, that's what the Alter Rebbe, with his unbelievable koyach, it's just so, it's, the more you misbeina and what the Alter Rebbe achieved, it's just shaloik yederach, a teva b'klam. The Alter Rebbe is, how do you call it, mamshik, the concept, which was known to the Talmidei Amagi of Melech Basode, but he reshapes it in a huge way, you know. He reshapes it in a huge way, which means that we can all have a shaykhs with the Melech. We can all make a kesher with him, yeah. And so when it will be the Bayis Chodas, yeah, the Melech to a certain extent knows who he is. He's already made a kesher with all of his subjects. They're all there. And to a certain extent, b'toch ha'chavilah shelo. And therefore he's going to judge by Reah, by Yorah, Yiras Hashem. The Gemara says, Masechta Sanhedrin, that Melech HaMashiach will be Moirach V'doin. He will smell and judge. His whole judging will be through smell. It's frightening. He'll smell you and he'll know where you're holding. But that's what, as I state, if I'm Oh, yo, but you come. And Moshe, before I forget, it's in the Hemshah V'Kocha, Perik Kuf Dalet.
Yeah.
Look up Perik Kuf Dalet, and you see, it's one of the few places in the whole Siddur that actually mentions something specifically when the guy lies on a rope. Oh. He asked me on the email, don't want to forget. אבל מילא, kommt es lo pizza, that the whole in of an elul, and that's why the Monkey has to learn that this whole thing of Esav having a kasochadaita that he wanted elul, and it's chopped away from him. It's a chatifa. And I thought to myself, ulai, that's what the Gemara in the Sekta Eruvin is. Marama is going to get to Shmuel and Rabbi Yehuda. You know what Shmuel said to Rabbi Yehuda? He's a Talmud by Shmuel. Shmuel was very ill, Rabbi Yehuda. He was Terosa and Manasseh, you know. He was amongst the Amoraim, when Terosa and Rabbi Yehuda. But Rashi learns that Rabbi Yehuda had a big tooth. He had one tooth that was very big. So Shmuel used to call him Shinano. But Shinano is like a play on the word chain. You call it Shinano, because of his big, that's how Rashi learns it. Others learn this from Russian Shinanton, that because he was so brilliant, that's why he called him Shinano. But anyway, whatever. Different thing. So what does Shmuel say to Rabbi Yehuda? He says, Shinano, Hai Alma das Lina Minei, Kibei Hilul Yadame. Of this world that we're going through it, or we're going away from it, or we're going through it, it's like a chasana. So in those days, a chasana was very informal, the eating at a chasana. It's more like they have these bars by chasanas, you know. By the real balabatis, chasanas nowadays, they have people are invited and people are sit and the whole thing. And then they have a bar. So what do you do by a bar? You know, what do you do over there? You walk on your chap. Your chap of Israel. In the old days, that was the whole Suda. I think I went against the Suda. If you wanted to have a little bit of the Suda, you had to go and chap. If you didn't chap, somebody else is going to chap. And he said, Shmuel says to Rabbi Yehuda, he said the whole Aveda in this world is kipei hilul yadami chatoif v'achoyer chatoif u'shasi. He said grab and eat and grab and drink. Yeah, one is now here in the world, that's the way it works. And so the Rever Hashem is masbah, that's the Ina from Rever Soiver. And Soiver is Ina Bilti Rogil. And you have to chop it, you understand? You can't get it at a B'derech Rogil, you have to chop. I mean, do something unusual, make a chap. You follow? That would fit in beautifully with this whole in and Chodesh Shalom. It's chatuv, you know, it's chatuv v'achoyim, and it's practical mazuman. You know, it's not hanging around there in the normal way, cloud. And that's the whole moshel. But even because it's possible to understand the whole moshel of Mela Besode.